Sorry,
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Existential Stoic Podcast, Quick Fix episode 23. Today, we
Woo!
are talking about increasing memory. I'm Randy with my buddy Danny. What's up, Danny?
What's up, Randy?
So, in these Quick Fix episodes, we just take less than 10 minutes. We give you a couple tips on how to do something of interest. This week, increasing your memory. So,
Ooh.
since it's my episode to introduce, I will start with number one. I have empty your mind. And there's a couple of things that I would like to talk about with this. First one is meditation. Great practice to help empty your mind, except for when you're doing it to try and empty your mind, because then it doesn't work. But if you just notice, if you just notice what's going on in your mind, that will help kind of let some things go. But a regular meditation practice does help increase memory because you have more available disk space, basically. And then the other thing with that is kind of getting rid of some of the stuff you don't need. Like if you know the name of every Kardashian and you know all this other stuff, maybe it's not useful. So getting rid of some of that stuff so that other things, you would have more space available for the things you actually need to remember.
I like that too. I like the idea of the comparison to like disk space, the idea of the computer storage, because I think it's helpful to imagine it that way. And meditation, yeah, definitely does. It calms us down and makes us better equipped, I think, to remember what we want to or recall memories because our brain's calm. It's not excited, it's not agitated, and it's easier to focus. And focus, I think, is crucial to memory.
Yeah.
In fact,
I
in hindsight, I
sometimes
wish I
look at
selected that.
meditation. I sometimes look at meditation like defragmenting the disk, like taking out all those the holes in the disk to make it easier.
Yeah, that makes actually, yeah, that's a good way to look at it, right? Is like you're kind of fixing the hard drive to make it work better, make it work more
Mm-hmm.
effectively. Yeah,
Oh,
good. I like that one.
okay, your
My
turn.
first one, we talked about reading a ton on this podcast. And I think I can't understate how important it is. I think reading is a good one because I think it exercises your mind, your imagination. It does it works your brain in a lot of, I think, healthy ways that help you remember more. And I think just in part, just going along with that too, when it's something we're interested in, we are way more likely to remember. And I think reading is a good way to like get engaged and see how your memory works and then apply that in the world. When you're engaged in things, you will remember. Again, focus, I think, is crucial for memory. So I think in that way, you can increase your memory by sort of exercising it over and over. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And it compounds on itself. Like each book that you read kind of adds even more, and you can use the previous knowledge, and that adds more, and then you can increase your
And
memory.
makes it more exciting.
Yep. My second one would be specifically towards I guess, having a better life somewhat, but putting in good memories. So everybody wants to increase their memories, but I would say I want more good memories in there. And I want those things to be like very easily accessible. So for instance, when I'm driving in a car, I'm walking by myself, taking that time to actually implant good memories into my mind and re-experience those memories. So that way they're a lot closer and I can just like, because the bad stuff's going to get in there anyways. But if I can just cover it up with the good stuff, then that'll be good.
No, I think that makes sense. I like that idea too, because you're not just talking about maximizing arbitrarily memory, right? But you're trying to be more sort of intentional and thoughtful about the kind of memories you really want. What kind of life do you really want? And making that work for you. I think it's a great idea. It makes sense. My second one actually can maybe go along with that, I think, too, really well, is try new things. I think, when we think about memory, I think we often think routine is helpful, but I think you also need to break routines too. You need new experiences. You need to give yourself essentially new sense data to work with, new ideas to work with, ways to look at things, changing perspective. And all of that requires that you do new experiences and try new things out. And I think that's a great way to help your memory and help sort of also look at your old memories or old things differently, sort of give yourself a new lens on it.
That's a great point because when you were talking about that, I always think back to places where I've traveled to. Whenever the places that always seem like very different, I have a very vivid memory of them. And my
That's a good point,
memory,
right? Yeah.
yeah, you could say my memory was increased because I went there.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So my last one would be empty your mind. Oh no, would be repetition. Okay.
Nice.
And that is Danny's joke. I stole it. But basically, repetition, it helps. So, like, I was just studying for a test and I had to remember a whole bunch of just like numbers and stuff, like port numbers and different things like that. And it was just going over it again and again and again and writing them down again and again and again and again. And eventually it just works itself into memory.
Yeah. Well, I like that you pointed out too. I think it's important to remember that if you're trying to remember stuff like that, like you're trying to actually memorize for a test or something, it's crucial to use different methods like writing down, listening, because a lot of us have different learning abilities in terms of visual, textile, and stuff like that. And those different methods, employing them will help you remember actually long term. So that's a good one. I'm glad you thought of it. Yeah, excellent.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you thought of it.
My last one is I think a little bit sort of, I guess, off, but works. Exercise or like going out in nature, taking a walk. I think we forget how much sort of we need energy to be engaged, to remember. And part of that is taking care of ourselves. It's exercising, taking a walk in nature. Studies have shown that we actually develop new brain cells from exercise later in life. So it is possible. So I think it's an important part of a healthy mental life is a healthy physical life, right? They go hand in hand as everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a good point. I can think back to times when just going for a walk helped me diffuse what was going on in my head so I could study some more.
Yeah. It works out well. Nice.
Cool. Well, there you have it. Less than 10 minutes, your quick fix before the dog broke down the door. And we thank you so much for joining us for this short little quick fix. We'll be back with a full-length episode at the end of the week. I'm Randy. That's my buddy Danny. Later, Danny. Make sure you check us out on YouTube and also the podcast. And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Later, Randy. Peace.